Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. 'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of heaven. A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at uenradio.com.
It's time for the Bonnie Sher Show, a whirlwind of wit, wisdom, celebrity, and the boomer life. With a little bit of this and a lot of that and so much more you don't want to miss, here's Bonnie.
That's my takeoff theme. Okay. Well, hello and welcome, new friends and old from near and afar. I'm Bonnie Sher, the host of the Bonnie Sher Show. Works well. And I want to thank you all for being here with me to enjoy the worlds of entertainment, of the great boomer generation, and of course the community of type 1 diabetics. So please feel free to share your thoughts. You can call us at 1-323-843-2826, or you could tweet the hashtag, which is #BShareRadio. Now, before we get the show on the road, I would like to acknowledge Chaz Great Wayne Cabo for my super duper hero theme song. Yay, Wayne. And also, thanks to Corey Bowen, who provides, and his company, which is called Crown and Anchor Jewelry. You can find them on Etsy. And they provide the jewelry that I wear on the show in exchange for this promotional consideration. So, when we come back, author Priscilla, wait, let's get my teeth working now. Priscilla Bennett. Take it away.
It's a story built on the moments you make today and the impact you have on others. How big is your story going to be? Live your legend.
Author Priscilla Bennett was born and raised in Boston, Mass., and is a retired emergency room nurse. For more than 20 years, she witnessed and treated abused women from all backgrounds. And her ability to write and her sincere desire to spotlight firsthand domestic violence. Basically, she writes with the goal of empowering women to escape and heal. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Priscilla Bennett. Hello, Priscilla.
Good afternoon, Bonnie. Thank you so much for having me on your show. Thank you.
Believe me, it's my pleasure. Your novel is phenomenal.
Thank you.
Spoken as a woman, spoken as a human with a heart. That's who read it, by the way. And wow, can you tell our audience a little bit about your background and how you devoted yourself to this now?
Bonnie, it started my entire life. I have been a nurse, and I worked 3 children day in, day out. And as the years went by, I would begin to just witness men also are part of this. It's not always women. Majority are women.
Yes.
Usually more of a female, but there are some men abused. So I want to be fair and mention that. Women would come in, children, they'd bring their children with them. Teenagers would sometimes show up through the emergency room doors. And I was never a victim of this. I have a loving husband. Of course, I, over the years, read about it, knew about it, but it started to hit home, Bonnie. I would see these women, and the stories were all very similar. I tripped on the stairs. I, fell off the step ladder. Always an excuse. And I finally, after a while, put two and two, I put it together. No, 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 no. This is domestic violence. These are victims. And the problem is, Bonnie, as you're aware, I'm sure, you can't do anything unless the person tells you what happened and wants to press charges, talk about it. So you pretty much send these people just back out through those emergency room doors. And there were many women over and over and over that came through those doors. And it is very sad. And it is such a pandemic. And I vowed that when I had time and I retired, which I did 2 years ago, I would sit down. I've never written anything other than for myself, different things. I love writing, and I thought I'd sit down and I am going to write some sort of book, and this is going to be my subject matter. I am not only going to call myself an author, I am going to do something good with the writing and start to make a difference and just go for it. And that's what I did.
And the book just recently came out, didn't it?
Yes, beginning of April 3rd. So relatively new, and it's been a tremendous.
It's a new book about an old problem, huh?
Well, but here's the thing: as I am learning now, all this social media, we didn't grow up with this, so it's such an important part. The Twitter, the Facebook, YouTube. I'm working on a YouTube channel now. I'm reading articles. People are sending me things. I'm promoting. I'm talking about. Other women are weighing in. So I have fallen down the rabbit hole and cannot believe, Bonnie, what is going on in our society and what is happening. And it is just frightful. And I feel so empowered right now, even more so when the book came out April 3rd, Something to Be Brave For, that I must make a difference and help to educate women and help to try to eradicate, make a dent with this problem. It is horrifying when you begin to really read everything out there. So that's my goal right now, is to open up the conversation with the book and then provide resources, tell women where they can go. There are so many resources available, Bonnie, but women are afraid, or they're financially, bound by a husband or a boyfriend, or they have little kids, or they don't want to rock the boat. And as women, we're always trying to make everything better and not really make a fuss. So it's really a tremendous problem, and it's a movement. I'm creating now a Priscilla Bennett community and a movement to just spread awareness about all of this.
Well, it's God's work that you're doing. I think that also, when, again, I realize it is not limited to women only, but when people, are living this horror, there's so many things. I mean, it's almost as though they need permission to tell their stories. And I think by virtue of presenting a large group of people, women, some men, to make, they say, wait a minute, I've seen this behavior. Is this the next step? That's, I think, it's like anything. We have to educate people in order to have them be responsive. Otherwise, it goes back to the same old stuff. And yes, I think I agree with you that it's certainly more called to light now, but this has been going on for many, many, many years. Ricky used to, smack around Lucy on the show and talk
Forever.
to.
Remember, he used to spank her. He
I
put
do.
Lucy over his knee and like spank her. I wonder if
She
they
got
even.
paid a lot.
I wonder if they even show those reruns these days. In the reruns, they may have pulled those. You know what I mean? I don't know.
No, I don't. Well, I don't know would be my answer.
I'll research it. I'll let you know because I remember. But I have to tell you, Bonnie, when I watched that years and years ago, I remember even thinking, that's strange. She's putting Lucy over his knee and spanking her. I didn't verbalize it. I just remember thinking.
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously I did too, because it comes to me and, just talking about it, I was floored that that's what I was seeing. I wanted to ask my mom, is this what marriage is supposed to be about? I managed to avoid being put over her knee or my dad. So now I have something else to look forward to. And she was very honest with me. And told me, yes, this does happen. And then you didn't hear about it for a while. But I think there's so much tension right now. And I'm not certain how much of that aspect can be relegated to this problem. I think tempers are very short. And I don't think the perpetrator, be it male or female, is going to say, wait, I forgot that rule. That's the instinct. So your ability to provide resources for people who are facing domestic abuse, if it's children, if it's the mother, if it's a male figure, who else is going to do that? So yay, Priscilla.
I'm finding the most important thing, Bonnie, because there are studies coming out and I don't know. One doesn't ever know when you read these studies. Are they true? Are they not true? I didn't write them. I didn't do the research, but I only know what I read. I find on the internet that domestic violence, the stats have gone up over the last year with incidents, in households, attributing to what's going on in society and the election and all of that. Again, I don't know if it's true. There are a lot of, not to get political at all, disturbing, cuts in the works for budgets for domestic violence programs and shelters. That's disturbing. But the good thing, and you touched on it a little bit before, there are more resources than ever available. Now, the thing is, so something to be brave for, my book. I am partnered, Bonnie, with the National Network to End Domestic Violence, which is based in Washington, D.C. That is one-stop shopping, nnedv.org. Their sister site is womenslaw.org. They provide free resources, free legal advice, free, come in, we'll meet with you. Here's the problem. It's still an icky subject matter. Bonnie, you are very brave, and I love you for that, and thank you. I'm going to keep thanking you for having me on. I have had people say to me, it's not an entertaining enough subject matter. As
long as I'm the producer of this show, I'll arbitrate. But I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second and ask you to hold that thought. And we'll be right back to you because I want to hear everything you have to say. So take a drink of water. I'll be right back with you. Let's play those 2 spots, please.
Since when did experience become something to hide? I say we own it. Lose all that negativity. Just let it go. It's just bad energy. Oh, and lose those terrible black balloons they give you on your 50th. What's up with that?
Hey, we hear you. That's why our members love AARP the magazine. It celebrates you with fun and provocative content, from lifestyle and entertainment to in-depth reporting. And it's just one of the great benefits of membership.
If you don't think this is right for me when you think AARP, then you don't know ARP. Get to know us at aarp.org/possibilities.
To be at peace with myself is the most prominent thing, and I am at peace with myself. I didn't build this deck, I'm just playing the game. That's all. That's it. Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise. Been making sure they get the nutrition that I need, and it's a balanced meal. My name is Maurice McGriff. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
You're tuned in to the Bonnie Sher Show. We have the pleasure of talking with author Priscilla Bennett. Please join the conversation. You can call us at 1-323-843-2826, or you can tweet the hashtag, that's #BSHER radio. So let's pick up where we left off before the break, Priscilla.
We left off with I was relaying to you about, I am floored that in, reaching out to people and would you like to do a radio interview, TV, which is almost impossible. They're coming back, many of them are women, which is even more shocking to me, saying it's not an entertaining enough subject matter. And look, I'm not in this media world and show business and all this stuff. But I have to tell you, I'm shocked. I'd like to hear your 2 cents on that. I don't.
I mean, I think the proof is in the proverbial Scotch pudding here. I don't think I would like Scotch pudding. I don't like butterscotch. I think it's essential. If we want, certainly from my work with diabetes and diabetics, this has just always been my direction, is putting it out there. If you don't want to hear it, you don't want to listen to it, you don't want to know about it, you're not going to tune into my show. No. But this is going to sound mean, but if you have a head and you have a heart, you need to hear it. And you're going to want to hear it. So
Exactly. And we all know, Bonnie, we all know of somebody abused, or we've heard stories, or
we've seen it on Lifetime television.
Well, we see everything on Lifetime television. That's where it's happening. But, or, women will quietly come up and say, that happened to me. Or, oh, my first boyfriend tried to strangle me. And that's where this all started happening in the hospital. And a couple of these women were return, I don't want to say customers, it sounds terrible, but, I got to know them. Mm-hmm. And I am friendly with a group of women now that, which is why I tend to be a tad mysterious. I don't want anybody to connect them to anything. I don't outright ever use their names or anything like that, but I kind of culled together their lifestyles and different things and put it together in the novel, Something to Be Brave For. They still live in fear, 40 years later. Can you imagine?
If it's still continuing, it's equally as fearful. No?
Well, no.
Does it get easier?
No, is away from it, with the exception of one woman.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like we should we should have classes, in the education system about sexual assault, domestic violence. It should be part of the curriculum. Oh. And I'm talking middle school, because as you know, the children go from children to adults these days. There's no in between. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like, you need to learn, they should teach in schools, and I'm talking again, like middle, 7th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, how to balance a checkbook, how to deal with finances. They don't teach life tools.
Well, I hear what you're saying also, but, I think that's got to be, if the school system would take that on, which And, I mean, unless it costs them absolutely nothing, you're going to have a tough push with that. Financially, I'm talking about. But the parents need to know, the cousins, the aunts, the uncles, everybody should be aware and on the lookout for this behavior. You know?
But they know. But Bonnie, that's the problem. People don't want to get involved. People, and that's a tricky thing because the victim, many times, the people who do get involved, you know, the victim will say, no, he didn't hit me, or she didn't hit me, or no, they're very much in denial. But then that leads us down the path of part of the whole domestic violence is mental.
Of course.
And that whole thing, how the person is held hostage psychologically, how they're so beaten down, they don't have the wherewithal except to exist in that day. They can't. I have spoken with women. I know women. They did not have the strength to even go and pick up a phone and call somebody. And also, the abuser tends to work on their victim and get them into a state of isolation. So, you know, family is at an arm's length, friends, they're very isolated. The world is the abuser. Or the other part of it is just the shame. I can't tell you how many women say they're so ashamed. And that is shameful. That is shameful. And especially that there are so many resources available. They didn't have all these resources 10 years ago that I'm dealing with, I know about. It is wonderful. The Women's Law Organization, what they will do for women.
But they, like you said, they need to know that it exists in order to obtain the help that they need. So bless you for putting this out.
Well, no, I just want to remind everybody, Bonnie, to go to PriscillaBennett.com.
That was going to be my next question. How does she know that?
Come on now.
Smart. I'm telling, it says so on my script.
Well, come on now. And they have to click on the resources tab. Again, I call it one-stop shopping. National Network to End Domestic Violence, one-stop shopping. Every day, new articles, new resources. But again, it's a constant battle. We have to keep up the good fight, like you and me are doing right now, talking about it openly, you know, to adult women. And we've got families and telling it's okay. It's okay. Just read. If I could just get people, you see what I post on a daily basis. I want people to read. I want people to just know some facts. I want to get people thinking, critical thinking.
Well, let's see if I can help out with that. Would you please tell people how they can obtain your book? It is an ebook, am I correct?
It is an ebook. It is very affordable, and this is done on purpose. It costs $3.99, and proceeds are going to National Network to End Domestic Violence. Amazon.com. Amazon, fabulous. You go there. Do you know, Bonnie, I didn't even know this, except for when I did this. You don't even need to buy a Kindle these days. There's a free app that you put on your phone. You put on any device you have.
That's how I read your book. I did just that.
I'm not you. You're in the business. You know all these things. I don't know.
I have a son who laughs at me for what I don't know. So
shame on him. Shame on him. You're far ahead.
You know, it's like that thing. Excuse me, but do you remember I'm the one who taught you how to use a spoon? Exactly. I must have known something sometime. Anyway, thank you. Thank you for being here with me. It's been a total pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me on.
I want my audience to make certain to pick this book up, even if you think it has nothing to do with your life. Well, it could have something to do with your neighbor's life, and maybe you can point that out for them. So it's your work is phenomenal. I want to thank you for presenting this to us and for presenting your findings to a large group of people. If you don't talk about it, nothing's ever going to change.
Exactly. PriscillaBennett.com.
Okay, then I will keep that on my blurts, and I don't tweet very much. There's already a guy in that chair, the tweeter. But I'll make sure to get the word out about that too. You take good care of yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. I'll speak with you soon. Thank
I
you
look
very much.
forward to it. Amazing work.